Valve just changed their AI rules, and needless to say, this is not good for the average consumer. At least probably. We currently don't really know the full spectrum of what's gonna happen because of this, but it's most likely not gonna be that great for the consumer at the end of the day, because this was more or less done because of Nvidia's pressure. Yes, as always, Nvidia is now trying to destroy what they spent so long honestly trying to build. That's just what is happening nowadays. The situation is extremely complex and complicated, but thankfully, I am the best summarizer out there in the universe. There is no one else who summarizes things like me. And let me just give you the too long didn't read. Dad, the situation is not good, but kind of bad. There you go. The most apt summary you will ever see.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy
NVIDIA,
not join them!
For China!
Gee, Frit, that was a pretty boomer-esque meme you just uploaded. Yeah, I know, but...
Yeah, I mean, boomer just nowadays means a person who is older than you and is kind of annoying. Yeah, I love how it means nothing.
But, it's sadly closer to the truth than anything I could muster up and put into words. Valve was supposed to be the chosen one. Unfortunately, it would seem they have decided to bend the knee to AI. Well, sort of. And I'm not too thrilled about it either. You know, the last thing you'll want after rooting for Valve for so long is to see them become just like everyone else. But it would seem NVIDIA has won. They got Valve to do exactly what they want everybody else to do. Let's get into it. But before we do, I have a favor to ask of you. And I don't ask for too much, but if you could get this video to 1,000 likes in the first hour, I will bring back, quote unquote Amish Tenga for a stream. Well, last time I used this model, I got in a lot of trouble in a video, but YouTube has kind of
I wonder why.
been hiding some of my content ever since then. But I don't give a damn. I am here to entertain the people, not to entertain YouTube. And let's get to 124,000 subs. With that being said, let's dive right into the news. Valve has updated its developer disclosure form for generative AI use. Developers do not need to disclose if they used AI-powered tools. Oh,
now, there is a good way that you can look at this, and the good way is very simple. It's the fact that every tool that developers use has a portion of AI actually in it. You're using Photoshop, congratulations. Those lines are actually influenced by AI and stuff. So there you go.
no! Why, Valve? Why you gotta do this to me? Why you making me look bad? Why you putting me on the spot, Valve? I was rooting for you, you assholes. Is it really as bad, though, as it seems? Well, on the surface, yes. Valve demanding people disclose if they use AI before publishing any of their products was what was separating them from a lot of other digital platforms. I mean, if you go over to the Nintendo eShop, it is littered with foot fetish AI games. I'm not even kidding you. There's straight up corn on the eShop that's generated by AI. And don't forget about the Italian brain rot AI games that have all been published there. Or go look at PlayStation Store. A lot of digital storefronts are littered with AI.
I love it when they literally, when the tag brain rot is actually a selling point nowadays. You know, it's the fall of Rome once again. When people are literally using the term brain rot as a selling point.
And they're not even asked to disclose if it's AI or not. In that sense, Valve is kind of your friend, kind of looking out for you. But things are a lot more complicated than that when it comes to AI. It's like Valve realized that there is no way to actually be able to tell or screen for AI-generated tools or any sort of AI assets and animations. It's not that simple, it's not that easy. As spotted by Game Discover's co-Simon Careless, Valve has made it clear that AI-powered tools such as code helpers do not require a disclosure, and that efficiency gains through the use of AI-powered dev tools is not the focus of its efforts. See, that's a problem, Because there are people out there who are very anti-AI, and there are people out there who are okay with some AI, and there are people.
I'm okay with some AI, but the reality is AI is completely garbage. And again, I think it will never actually achieve anything. If you look at what AI is currently capable of, man, you just need to use AI for 5 minutes and then you understand, oh, AI is not even close to being an artificial intelligence. It just recognizes words and then it just tries to do what word means. But the moment there is any kind of context, if there's not enough source material to say that this is how that works out, the AI is gonna have absolutely no clue what the hell it's supposed to do.
Who are all on board for it. There's a wide range of opinions and stances, and Valve's rules against AI, well, they kind of appeal to a bit of everyone. But now this new change, this leaves out those who don't want AI whatsoever. There are folks out there who don't want the code written by AI. They don't want art done by AI. They don't want music done by AI. They don't want animations done by AI. They don't want AI associated with any bit of their product.
Makes
they want
sense.
100% human ingenuity and creativity.
Now, to be absolutely fair, the average human developer, especially in gaming, currently falls below AI in all respects: creativity, ingenuity, capability, and did I say creativity? Because I think that should be said at least twice or thrice at this point, okay? The average Bethesda developer has absolutely no clue which planet he's on, probably, at this point.
I think, personally, you're asking for too much, but nonetheless, the policy was useful for folks like you, who wanted to know, is there any AI in my game? It's kind of like the people who don't want DEI in their games. So much so, they went and made a Steam page to detect that stuff. I'm thinking that's what people are gonna have to do in the community now. They're gonna have to go and make pages that figures out if something does have AI, but screening for that isn't so easy. I'm not sure Valve has a solution for any of that, but I think the policy they had before was perfectly fine. It shouldn't be that hard for any developer to disclose if they used any sort of generative AI.
The problem with this is probably a legal standpoint, because if someone is trusting Steam to give an AI tag, but Steam can't really even actually set its rules fully straight on what actually constitutes as AI and what isn't, while they fully are aware that they have no capability of actually checking if something is AI slop or not, if it's, not fully AI garbage, this was probably just a situation where Steam was like, okay, this opens up to a lawsuit because we can't enforce this rule. We know we can't enforce it. And, well, that's just a class action lawsuit waiting to happen. And Steam already has enough lawsuits currently waiting to happen. So it is what it is.
The first two types of AI use that developers will have to disclose is AI to generate content for the game, whether that is within the game, on its store page, or in marketing materials. That's very reasonable.
Okay,
the second is AI
it.
content generated during gameplay. That one is especially important.
Nice.
And whether the game in question generates...
So effectively, this would mark Starfield as Omega Slop.
AI created images, audio, text, and other content. Since 2024, Valve has required developers to disclose on Steam whether generative AI was used in the creation of their games. This then appears on the game's store page in a section called AI Generated Content Disclosure. In July 2025, an analysis found that nearly 8,000 titles released on Steam in the first 6 months of 2025 had disclosed the use of generative AI, compared to around 1,000 during the entirety of 2024. Now, let me make it clear that there's a distinction between generative AI and then, just using AI tools. There's a reason people are a lot more against generative AI. It's because generative AI takes away a lot of human input, a lot of human workers, a lot of human creativity. It's the type of crap that you see splattered all over your social media feeds. People making fake videos that are getting a little too convincing. In this sense, I can understand and agree with those people. If something is completely made by artificial intelligence, It loses its soul, it loses its meaning, and most importantly, it abandons the concept of human talent itself. For that reason alone, it's important that people can distinguish the two different things. 8,000 titles is a lot of games released alone in the span of 6 months. 8,000 people really just want to make AI slop and try to make money off of it. Nobody wants to work their ass off to make a proper product, and that's a problem. I would argue Valve shouldn't accept those types
The hell is this? Is this AI slop?
of games on
Active matter.
their platform.
Join the multi. Yeah, this doesn't seem that. I mean, I can tell that this is all fake, by the way. This is 100% all fake. But kind of cool. I like the concept. Interesting.
At all. Those types of games should be sold in AI exclusive sites. Like, you don't want to be associated with so much AI slop. 8,000 titles is ridiculous. That's not only inflating the number of titles that you can find on Steam, but you're also just littering the page. But that's also a lot, and I mean a lot of waste.
Gotta look at this game. It's just such garbage. Such unbelievable garbage. Like, look at this. Boo, 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 boo.
Resources, the energy required to generate all those titles, and I'm willing to bet that 99% of those games didn't even sell. So what you have is a bunch of wasted resources being uploaded straight to Steam, and that's a problem. However, although Steam requires games that use generative AI in their development to disclose the use, such disclosures are voluntary. So the actual number of games created using Gen AI is likely higher than the 8,000 figure. I'm willing to bet it's around 20,000 games. Like, Valve has to...
Yeah, it's probably half. According to last year's development survey, a majority of developers... Yeah, it's AI on a serious level that a lot of purists would take issue with is probably more than half of the games.
Hammer this down. They have to be a lot more strict. But something tells me, you know, they see the benefit in selling people digital products regardless of how it's made. And I don't care how much you love Valve, that's a bad look. Like, there's no real defense for that. You don't care as long as the product is sold. And it's all voluntary. Like, people aren't really forced to tell you if they used AI or not. According to last year's Game Developers Conference survey, a majority 52% of developers reported working at companies that utilize generative AI tools. However, as usage has gone up, curiosity has gone down. 9% of developers surveyed said their companies were...
I wonder when is AI gonna actually get to the point where it's unusable because AI, learning from AI, makes shit. Like, have you ever, for example, just take any picture from anywhere, put it into some kind of Grok, Chat GPT, or whatever, and then just ask it to change one simple thing, and then ask it to change another simple thing. I'm literally talking about asking it to just change a pixel or two. Do that 5 times, and that you're gonna see that the picture does not look real any longer because AI has changed everything about it. And if AI is allowed to learn from AI, all of these pictures are going to become, you know, the historic yellow splat thing.
Interested in generative AI tools, down from 15% last year. 27% said their companies had no interest in using them. A 9-point increase from 2024. Well, that's not very reassuring now, is it? Half the industry is using generative AI, and they're expecting you not to tell. As you may know, Activision confirmed that it was using generative AI to create in-game assets for the Call of Duty franchise. One of the main reasons people...
Wow, the sand of its 6 fingers didn't give up away already, you know?
People don't want AI slop in their games is because it is incredibly low effort. And we're...
Okay, listen. One thing is incredibly low effort AI slop. The other one is incredibly low effort AI slop that's sold to me as a microtransaction. The first one, barely tolerable. The second one, absolutely fucking unforgivable.
Already dealing with an industry that's trying to get away with the bare minimum enough as it is. Now you hand them AI and you don't demand they disclose it, and that's gonna give them incentive to be even fucking lazier, Valve. Like, you're handing NVIDIA the W they want. It's even crazier to think that the technology being improved by NVIDIA is more than likely being used by the majority of game developers out there. One way or another, like, it seems like Valve has no choice but to bend the knee here, because the majority of game developers out there are already using it, and many have been caught. But it's gonna get worse, because there hasn't really been that much creative use of AI in any sort of medium. In a world where we have video games that have bugs and glitches, poor performance, poor storylines, imagine how much worse it's gonna get when it's just artificial intelligence generating random soulless slop in an industry that's already as soulless as it is. And keep in mind,
I was gonna say that. I was gonna add that. Yeah, needless to say, the gaming industry, especially the AAA part, is, well, it's in shambles.
in Call of Duty was using AI generated assets without disclosure. So one way or another, you have no choice. The next product you purchase, the next game you play, hell, I wouldn't be surprised if GTA 6 is full of generative AI and they don't tell anybody. You're gonna be forced to participate in something
It's probably gonna be full of generative AI.
you don't want. And I can understand how that enrages people. You don't really have a choice anymore. And like, the one company that stood in the way between you knowing and not knowing has decided to just open the floodgates outright. Now you're probably wondering, what are the rewritten rules? What was the major changes they made? Well, as we can see from this post right over here, interestingly, Steam just rewrote but did not remove the "Does your game have AI in it?" def disclosure form. Valve's making it clear that AI-powered tools like code helpers don't need citing. Efficiency gains through the use of AI-powered dev tools is not the focus of this section. As you can see, we are aware that many modern game development environments have AI-powered tools built into them. Efficiency gains through the use of these tools is not the focus of this section. Instead, it is concerned with the use of AI in creating content that ships with your game and is consumed by players. This includes content such as artwork, sound, narrative, localization, etc. Does this game use generative artificial intelligence to generate content for the game, either pre-rendered or live generated? This includes the game itself, the store page, and any, so they've made an exception. I know most of you are thinking, well, Frit, it's fine if they're using AI tools. And, I don't completely disagree with you. The problem here is I don't see how this helps Valve. The increased use of AI is the reason we're having any sort of hardware.
Now, there is a way that this kinda can help Valve, in the sense that this just gives them time to figure out what's actually a good rule and what isn't. Because the reality is, we didn't create these magical rules that we currently live by. America has none of them, by the way. Pretty funny. What happened to the Eibersteiner list? Tell me, what happened? You release it now. In any case, it takes a while to actually make rules into functional things that don't actually punish the wrong people because reasons. Because it's extremely easy to, break a rule that you're not even aware of, that's intended to do good but doesn't do good. This is why there needs to be iterations to these things. And this is just an iteration for Valve. Valve maybe has not given up on this stuff, they're just trying to iterate it. So, it's not a blanket 100% games use AI, because that's kind of one way that you can look at all these changes and the questions that they are asking. They don't want that.
Prices at the moment. And Valve is willing to bend the knee to that? Make that make sense to me. If the Steam machine is going to be a very difficult thing to price accordingly because of the hardware spikes, wouldn't you want to combat that? I guess not. I guess Valve wants to hand the W over to NVIDIA. While it may not be
It's not like that can actually combat that for real, though.
important for some to know how the game was coded, it is important to a lot of other people. So AI has won. NVIDIA, it looks like they accomplished what they set out to do. And that's convert the entirety of the world into a giant AI hub for them. This is gonna backfire on Steam so hard because Valve relies on like 99% of PC gamers out there. And if there are no PC gamers, what are you going to do, Valve? Oh, the Steam box. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to get enough Steam machines to replace the entirety of PCs at home. Home computers are where you make your business, Valve. Don't forget where you came from. Like, the last thing you want is for PC gamers to not exist. Otherwise, you're not going to generate any sort of money.
That's a lot of doom and gloom for Thong, even honestly, for my fucking taste. And listen, I never, every day I wake up thinking, but there's garbage. Man, oof. Yeah, I don't think it's as bad. Obviously, this currently does not seem the best thing ever. But at the same time, this does not mean it's over. It does not mean that Valve's just like, hey, let's embrace AI for no reason. Because think about it logically, right? Why the hell would Valve embrace AI now for no reason? They have nothing to do with AI. They are kind of set against AI for a lot of the things. Because Amazon's CEO currently, which is not, by the way, Bezos, he's just a board director. Oh, Bezos, you dog. Anyway, Amazon thinks that you're gonna actually, change everything about it, that no one's gonna buy a PC soon, everyone's just gonna rent. I saw a tweet about that. That was a quote from Amazon. And I think, honestly, by the way, that is true. Because this is how predictable this cycle is gonna be. Some company is gonna make cloud gaming an actual functioning thing, and it's gonna start off good. Like the original Game Pass that was literally pretty much fucking for free. And then in a year, they're gonna increase the price, and then they're gonna increase the price again, and then at one point, there's gonna be no difference between keep renting this shit or buy a PC, and it's gonna make itself back in 3 years, but now you actually own a thing. And it's probably going to be like a 2, 3, maybe 4-year cycle when this thing pops off until it self-implodes, because you can't actually keep making money and keep making increased amounts of money when you're doing something like that. But in any case, that was Fratanga Place, 10 out of 10. Bye!